when we're taught now, my 30 years spans
Come on, Kyle.
three agencies. One agency I was in the military, one agency I retired from, and then I moved on to another agency. So with those three agencies, the thread is the same. Once you have the person in handcuffs, the game is over. Unless they're spitting, kicking, hitting you with the head, stuff like that. Now, George Floyd in the back for larger guys like that. So I have had individuals who were like, listen, I'm claustrophobic, and they were going off. We would roll the windows down so they could get air, or we would stretch their legs along the bench so they could feel more comfortable. Strap them in and get them out of there. Now, that's the police way. Now, what we saw was something personal. Now, I know it's not confirmed yet, or it hasn't been brought out yet, but the fact that Floyd and that officer allegedly worked at the same club, and there was something personal there between those two individuals, and that right there is what I would call the untold story about, and that's the underlying story about what happened. Yeah, all the other stuff was done incorrectly. That's correct, but the stuff that they had right, when they took him out of the car, that's when it went wrong. I mean, after he was handcuffed, and when they removed him from that police car, unless they removed him just to stand him up so he can get air, if they would have did that, fine. But the moment they removed him, laid him down, he recognized that this was a person he had an issue with, or whatever. That's when it got personal.
Answer, and I don't know the answer to this. What about the pulling the gun on? Go ahead.
Totally unwarranted. Totally unwarranted. It's like I said, the officer that was on prior she's exactly right. When you approach a substance, as a matter of fact, when you're doing a mere encounter is just me having a conversation with someone. And then when it rises to the level of suspicion, then that's when I ask for your ID. And then if you ask me why do I want your ID, I say because you're under suspicion for passing bills. And then if it is a phony bill, now I'll tell you you're under arrest for passing bills. Then I put the cuffs on. There's a procedure for this, but unfortunately we don't see it. So a lot of people don't think that there is a procedure. There's a procedure for this. When you put somebody in handcuffs, you are arresting them. As a matter of fact, if I stand in front of you and you can't move, you could be, you could have your hands in your pockets, Mr. Madison. But as a law enforcement officer, if I tell you you can't move, I have arrested you. And I have to tell you why you are arrested. Well, that's a detainment, but I have to tell you why you're detained.
D from New Jersey, go ahead. 13 after the hour. You're on with Madison here on Sirius XM Urban View. Go ahead, D.
Hey, good morning, Mr. Madison. Great show. Live to us. And the brother who just went on with the police officer, he struck an important chord when he said that was something personal. And even with the knee on the neck, if you notice what Chauvin was doing, he was looking at the officer bystanders and actually taunting them, as though he was taunting them and looking at them and saying, yeah, I got this. He was acting like he was in a hunt and he caught his prey.
It's an attitude. There was an attitude. Yeah. And maybe that attitude, when you're watching it on television, you may not get the full impact as opposed to being there on the sidewalk. But that, I've been around, and you can an attitude when you see one. It doesn't take a half an hour to figure out somebody's attitude. I've been around, You can see it in their face. You can see it in their demeanor. It's like the police officer who told the firefighter, if you know what's best for you, you'll stay out of this. Well, that's a hell of a thing to say to a firefighter who, by the way, is there to offer help. Or if you know what's good for you, you'll stay. fuck you.
Oh!
I mean, to be, excuse the French, I'm not excusing. I put $1 in the cuss jar and then I'll donate it to the Red Cross or something. Give me a break.
That shows how corrupt these guys are.
That's right. That's
shows
right.
a level of corruption that is just callousness. It's not just corruption.
Dwayne from California, first time caller, 15 after the hour. Go ahead, Dwayne.
Good morning, Mr. Madison and
Good morning.
Madison.
Good morning.
Well, I think one of your colleagues was speaking about the workers, the police officers should step up and...
Yeah, that was Mackenzie, our intern. Yes.
We remember Christopher Darden, I think that's his name. He tried to step up, and look what happened to him in Big Bear.
That's
so
right.
I think when they try to step up and do the most honorable thing, they get targeted.
Oh, yeah.
And they get... And the other thing I was going to say, Mr. Madison, I'm pretty sure Miss Sherry knows, Linwood, California, and Carson, California, they had sheriffs there. And man, if you was African American driving down the street I'm 68 years old, and when I was like 17, 18, and if we rolled with a baseball cap on our head, we had to snatch it off because we was going to get pulled over.
I'll ask Sherry, you familiar with those communities?
I am. Just don't leave out Paramount.
Paramount. If the community has sheriffs, they will beat your butt. They beat my uncles. They will beat your behind. And we was terrified of the sheriffs.
Everybody knew it.
Yes, ma'am. And so that's all I wanted to say. You have a great show, and I'm a truck driver, Mr. Madison. I heard you say a Yahoo, and I'm like, how you know I'm in this truck? I'm not a Yahoo.
I'm not talking about you. Let's talk to Richard from Texas. Go ahead, Richard.
Yes, good morning, Mr. Madison. How are you? Well, I was trying to respond to those first two callers, and I was feeling really upset because I thought that was the most insensitive thing that someone could possibly say about that situation, and that's all I really want to say, sir.
Okay. Let's take Cedric from Texas. Go ahead, Cedric.
Yeah, Mr. Madison, I'll get very emotional listening to this. Like those police officers, white folks are so insensitive to what black people go through. They act like because it hasn't happened to them that it doesn't happen.
Well, wait a minute. Hold on. That's exactly right. I mean, that's why. Again, guys, perspectives are based on what? People's experience. If I haven't had the same experience, then I can't really understand. I may not be able to empathize or have the same perspective. Now, excuse me, that's why they call it learning. That's why we have sociology classes. That's why we study human relations. You don't have to have the exact same experience. All you have to do is educate yourself, read, listen, learn, watch documentaries, read books, be educated. But see, again, these folk, they don't. I'm be honest. Let's just be honest. They don't want to, and you know why they don't want to, Cedric? Because they don't think it's guys, I'm going to say it again. Cultural conditioning. And I'm going to repeat it one more time. And if I have to do it 100 times. In America, we are all, black, white, yellow, brown, we are all culturally conditioned to believe that white is superior and black is inferior. Black, brown, red, and yellow. I'm not finished. I'm not finished with the entire statement. So let me start over. In America, we are all culturally conditioned to believe that white is superior and black or colors are inferior. And the manifestation of that cultural conditioning is that if you are a person of color, you are undervalued, underestimated, and marginalized, period. So
And then
therefore,
the
and so
oppressors,